Hey everybody, Jim from Cigars here, and today I'm reviewing the Flor de la Antillas from My Father Cigars. If this isn't on your list of favorites, you're unusual, I think, in the cigar business. This cigar came out in 2012, and it's won a bunch of awards, gotten really high ratings, and we are going to see if those ratings are justified. I'm taking off the little cloth or fabric band that a lot of cigars have at the bottom as a decoration. Leave in the comments, tell me what you think of these. I think they're kind of a pain myself, but you know, they're make it a little fancier, I guess. I'm going to use this cigar cutter here, classic design, and I'm going to do a, what is it called, a modified Dixon cut. So this is a Belicoso. This is a pyramid shaped cigar, and what a Dixon cut is, a modified Dixon cut, is where you just kind of hold, you go in straight, but then you tilt just a little bit like that, not too much, otherwise you'll feel like Linda Lovelace when you're smoking it. But you want to cut it off so it's at a little angle like that, and that gives you more a surface for inhaling, better flavor, and that's what they say anyway. So I tend to cut my pyramid type cigars in that way, just because I'm in the habit of doing that. One thing about the cigars, this is made very much in the Cuban style. It is if it was very hard to see, but there's they call it a 3-seam cap. Most cigars made in other countries have a 2-seam cap, and Cuban cigars are marked by having a 3-seam cap. This is made in Nicaragua. It's not a Cuban cigar, but it's made very much in the Cuban tradition. And the other thing about this is they use, man, I wish I could think of how it's of the name of it, but instead of just rolling the tobacco up, they sort of accordion it. So and again, that's a very Cuban technique of doing it. So anyway, interesting cigar for that reason. But let's fire up and see how it tastes. A little windy day here today in southern Wisconsin, so we're having trouble getting it lit, but my good old Vertigo lighter comes through. And you'll see, if you see in the background, there's a pooch walking around. That's Wally. Can you see him on the camera? Well, you can now. Yeah, there he is. The coach of Michigan, Jim Harbaugh, put a saying over the locker room door that said, "Attack this day with enthusiasm not known before to mankind." And that's sort of how Wally lives his life. He's very enthusiastic, as you can tell. Anyway, a little bit of strength. It's not one of those punch in the face type cigars in terms of body, but it's got some taste to it and some good body to it. When I smoke a My Father cigar, almost any of the My Father cigars, I always think it reminds me of when I was a little kid, and you'd smell grown-ups smoking their cigars. It's reminiscent of that smell. It's a classic flavor cigar, nothing fancy, but well done, extremely well executed. So I'm going to have a little bit more of this to smoke, and I'm going to report back some more of my impressions as we go on. So I'll see you in a minute. Hey everybody, I'm back again smoking the Flor de la Antillas, pronounce that correctly in Spanish, cigar by My Father Cigars. And I didn't mention earlier, that translates into flower of the Antilles. The Antilles Islands are the islands down in the Cuba area, and Cuba being the largest of that group of islands is the flower of the Antilles. So a very fitting name for this cigar. This is a very Cubanesque is the best way to describe this cigar. And I know people say that about a lot of cigars. I think the popularity of My Father Cigars is because they really do deliver on that term, and you get the Cuban smoking experience from a Nicaraguan cigar. So that's one of the reasons I think it's very popular. oaky flavor, strong enough, a 6 or 7 in terms of boldness, enough to keep you interested. I actually have to touch this one up a little bit, but there's no sin in that. I'm pairing this today with a really interesting drink. It's called Point Premium Diet Root Beer, and it is brewed or made in Stevens Point, Wisconsin at the Stevens Point Brewery that makes some premium craft type beers that are popular in Wisconsin. Chances are you can't get this nationally, certainly, and probably not even too much regionally. But here in Wisconsin, I'm telling you, if you're a root beer drinker and you want a diet root beer that tastes incredible, man, this is it. I hands down have never had a better diet root beer than this, and I am, and as you know, an aficionado of carbonated drinks. Oh man, that is good. Okay. Want to give you a little background how I ended up with this cigar. A couple of years ago, it was 2018, Cigar Aficionado gave this, the Belicoso version of this cigar, a very, very high rating, a 95 rating. And I was in kind of a speculative mood, so I said, you know what, I'm going to buy a box, because I think the year before, whatever the cigar of the year was the year before, blew up, and people were paying $500, $600, $700 bucks a box for it. And I thought, oh man, I'll make a little investment and it'll pay off, because it was rated higher than any other cigar. Well, what I didn't know in my research is this very cigar had won Cigar of the Year in 2012. So they weren't going to they weren't going to award it again in 2020. I think it was 2019. I think that year Eye of the Shark was the cigar that won the award. So anyway, my consolation prize was a box of 25 of these cigars, which, believe me, was not a bad deal. And this is the last one from that box. I got to give this cigar a solid 9, and bordering on a 9.5. This is a very good cigar, very solid. I've smoked, like I said, I've smoked a whole box of these, and the construction's been consistent, taste has been consistent. Very nice cigar, and I would highly recommend it. So, grab some if you can, and I will see you next time from Cigars.